Yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the top sports stories that have happened this past week. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
I am doing quite well. It's been a long week. You know, you might think birthday week, you know, it's like take it easy. No. It's quite the opposite. It is an absolute circus.
I mean, first off, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. Hope you had a great day. I did try to join your show on Wednesday for a little bit.
Well, I almost died on my birthday.
Well, that's not a good thing.
No. A little scary.
Yeah.
It was weird, too, because I went to a bird sanctuary and did, like, the trails.
Uh-huh. Did you almost fall?
No, at the end, I was so exhausted, you know, I decided, okay, let me sit on this rock. And then everything started hurting, like things were stabbing me. It was quite awful, to be honest with you. Quite awful. So I think I got severely dehydrated and low blood sugar all at the same time. And it was not good.
Well, we're glad that you're okay, because today's show would have really stunk.
Yeah, so, I mean, you would have been like, Ron, you sending the link?
Like, what's going on? No Ron today. No Ron. All right, my friend. Well, again, if you are joining us live tonight, please join the chat. Let us know if you have any opinions, comments, or want to talk about anything in particular that maybe we're not covering tonight. As well as we want to thank those that help support us and put us all over the place. Let's start off with 99.1 WDJY in Dallas, Georgia. Thank you for putting us on every Saturday at 1 p.m. We appreciate the support there. As well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island. We're on every Saturday night at 10 a.m. We appreciate the support there. And SEC.
Saturday morning.
Saturday mornings. Did I say night? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. as well as SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Thank you all for the support. If you are watching or listening and come join us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to experience the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded. We are on all social media platforms. You can follow us on MeWe, TikTok, Kick, Twitter, X, whatever you call it now. I don't even know what some of those are. What's the butterfly?
That is Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. We're everywhere. We're out.
And the other one next to it is Space Hey. That is the carbon copy of MySpace.
Oh, really?
They remade it. It looks exactly like it.
Okay.
So
I have to check that out.
It's not MySpace, but it is a carbon copy minus Tom.
It's called Hey Space?
Space Hey.
Oh, Space Hey. Okay. I'll have to check that out. All right. Well, that's how you can follow us on our social media platforms, as well as Sports Unfolded on most platforms. All right, Ron, you ready to kick this bad boy off tonight?
I know this guy is.
Let's talk about the Stanley Cup, and now tied at 2. So 2-2.
That's a little stick.
It's a little. Oh yeah, look at that. It is 2-2 here, and can I just say, you are a major hockey fan.
Yes.
I am not as much. But if you want to see a great series where you're talking about 3 out of the 4 games have gone to overtime.
Yeah.
Yesterday's game 3-0 lead for Florida to go to 3-3 tie, to go to Edmonton taking a lead for about 19 seconds left. Florida scores that to tie it in overtime, for then Draisaitl to win it in overtime late. I think about 10 minutes left in the overtime period.
Craziness.
It's been back and forth. This has been such a great series, Ron. What do you think has basically caused it to be so competitive and close? And then what are we looking for the next 3 games?
And it looks like it's going to go those 3 games, to be honest with you, because nobody's getting a stronghold.
And there's no home ice advantage, right? They both won on each other's ice.
Yeah, so anything is game. Now they go back to Edmonton for game 5, and it looks like, advantage Edmonton at the moment because they have the momentum. But honestly, these 2 teams, it does not matter. First of all, with Edmonton, because they have such talent with Draisaitl and McDavid, they're never out of a game.
And the speed, Ron, is like just absolutely ridiculous when it comes to Edmonton. Like Connor McDavid made this one move past 2 guys yesterday, and I'm going, like, were they even skating? It looked like they were standing still. That's how quick he even made the move.
He's such a tremendous player. Oh my God, what a talent!
We said it, right? The firepower of Edmonton. Can Florida, bully them? They've done it for 2 games, but then there's been 2 games where they weren't able to do it.
And that's just it. When you saw game 1, you were like, yeah, it was close, but you just felt like Edmonton had the series. And then, Florida makes a statement.
Right. They win 2 straight. And you're saying, okay.
They're very resilient. They're very good. They don't go into a slump.
I would say this too, the experience from last year, right? Game 7. They went to 7 games last year. So it wasn't like, Florida swept through them last year and you sit back and go, okay, they just can't handle the pressure.
Right.
I mean, they were literally one game from winning the cup last year. And you saw it yesterday with the resiliency to come back from a 3-0 deficit.
Which hasn't been done since 2019, 2018. Down 3-0.
And it was all in the second
Stanley
period.
Cup final game.
Yeah, right. And it was all in the second period. It was like, okay, Florida came out through the haymakers. They knocked them down, and then they came back and said, you know what? Here's our punches, and we knocked you down. So it was like, it was like a great heavyweight fight where they just both teams were going back and forth.
To me, it reminds me of those Hagler-Hearns fights where they would just beat each other up.
Yeah.
And then the last man standing at the last round. That's basically what this is.
Right. And then you saw it. And when you tell me that a team scores with 19 seconds left, the momentum you thought shifted to Florida. And in that overtime period, you didn't see Edmonton just back away.
It was kind of a fluky goal that won the game last night. So it wasn't like they were just overwhelming in overtime. It was just a fluke goal, went off a leg and a skate and and it just found its way in between Bobrovsky's pads. And it like you can see him looking and it's like, oh no, I can't stop it.
Yeah, listen. Bobrovsky made some amazing saves too. In that third period, I mean, Edmonton had some breakaways. He stopped the Connor McDavid, fast break. So, and again, it's amazing to see people who don't watch hockey could enjoy that game last night because that's what sports is about sometimes. Like, that wave of emotions that we saw yesterday where, to your point, I think, you start to watch it 3-0 in the first. You're like, this game's over. Florida's going to be up 3-1. Series done. And then all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, it's 3-3.
What just happened?
Right? Like, what am I watching? And then you're like, Edmonton now took the lead. Like, you're like, oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Now it's Edmonton's series. Wait a minute. And Florida just scored again.
The amazing part is Connor McDavid really hasn't done a lot in this series. It's been Draisaitl.
Yeah.
and a bunch of other guys that just step up every game.
Yeah. And
and they got goals from players that, expect it, and eventually Connor McDavid is going to win a game. He's going to win a game.
Yeah. So it shifts back to Edmonton now.
Yeah.
You think momentum on Edmonton's side, or do you think, again, it's too tough?
Every time you say that, it switches. So no, there's no momentum on this series.
You don't want to take a shot on that one.
They just come up big when they need to come up big, and that's both teams. These two teams are clearly the best two teams in the league. Clearly,
so
it's not even close.
Who needs Game 5 more on?
Edmonton, because you can't go to Florida
expecting
with them having the opportunity to win it at home. Because if that's the case, they're doing it. Edmonton will not get to 7. So they need to come out. They need to play a strong game. They need Skinner to be better, because he hasn't been great. He's just been okay.
We already started. We're doing a live show in Santa Monica. He's graduation. Yeah.
I can't see the chat because I got to refresh. It's not working.
So I don't even know how to ask this question, Ron, but who wins this series now? 3 games left. And why? So I will say this, Ron. I still think Edmonton should be the favorite, because I think the offensive firepower, and you saw it last night, that a 3-0 lead isn't safe.
A light switch.
Right? Like, it's not safe. Where I felt like if Edmonton's up 3-0 in that game, Florida doesn't come back and score three goals.
I will say this. I'm still sticking with Edmonton winning this series, but the winner of Game 5 will win the series.
Okay. So you're going with the next game, which is what, tomorrow night?
I believe so.
I don't know. I really don't, because every time I think I figured it out, I thought Florida took a stranglehold after the first period. I was like, they're determined to win this thing, and
and that's
let
the
them right
thing.
back into it.
You can never count out Florida.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent on that Florida team.
Oh, absolutely. I just think the firepower for Edmonton, if Edmonton was up 3-0 after the first period last night, I don't think Florida has enough firepower to come back, if that makes sense. Because I think then all that pressure, they don't have the goal scorers like Edmonton has. They don't. We got to
remember too, Edmonton doesn't have Hyman.
Yeah, he's
a good goal scorer.
Yeah,
that's a big loss, and they're still trucking along. That is a key loss, and if it comes down to Florida taking the series, that's where you got to look.
Yeah. And I don't know coaches well enough in the NHL, but the coach for Edmonton pulling Skinner, it kind of shifted the momentum back to Edmonton. As crazy as that sounds, you changed it, right? And it was like, whoa, okay, like he's determined to say, look, if you're not going to play well, you're not playing in this game. Yeah. And I think that's what really changed it for Edmonton. If he didn't make that move, if he didn't make that move, they probably lose that game.
Yes.
So, great job there by him, because you don't see that too often in a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, you got to know when to do it, right? Because
after the first period.
Goaltenders are sensitive.
It's like you.
If you pull a goaltender and they're not in the right state of mind, you can't put them back in the next game.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see who starts Game 5 for Edmonton in net.
Right.
And that's the thing, is like you're talking about first Hyman, right? And now we're talking about Bobrovsky is clearly outplaying Stuart Skinner.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that just tells you how good of a team Florida is.
Yeah. No, agreed. Great point. So we will do our predictions later on in the show for the game 5. So, stay tuned, Danny. Make your predictions towards the end of the show. But great start to the show, Stanley Cup. But we're going to talk some NFL, Ron, if you're ready. I don't know if you're going to refresh or you're good.
Yes, I am going to refresh.
All right.
Somewhere.
We'll let you refresh. Get a little technical difficulties here. We'll let. Oh, look at Tom right in. What up? Hey, look at that. All right. I see how it is. Tom Brady. We're going to talk about Tom Brady getting a statue in Foxborough, Gillette Stadium. So it's going to be interesting to see Ron's opinion and my opinion on this topic, as we are both massive Patriot fans. So this should be an interesting conversation. Your thoughts, Tom Brady getting a statue in Gillette, as well as if you have any opinions on the Stanley Cup and you're joining us live, let us know what you thought about last night's game and what you think is going to happen for the rest of the series, because that's going to be interesting. All right.
Hope it's working now.
All right. So the New England Patriots have announced that they're going to have a Tom Brady statue in Gillette. I think they're unveiling in August. So do you think it's the right time, Ron? Is this the right time for them to do this?
I don't know when the right time is. Maybe when he packed his bags and headed for Tampa Bay, that should have been the time. I don't know. I don't know what the right time is. I mean, he was so great. I mean,
greatest quarterback of all time, by far. You're right. I have a problem with this, though. And my problem is this. Who else was part of those 6 championships? Bill Belichick.
I know.
Okay. And I feel like
he's been slighted.
He's been slighted. There's been a clear pettiness by Robert Kraft and this organization now when it comes to Bill Belichick. And I feel like this is, like, to me, the Red Sox, Babe Ruth, the curse. You are completely disregarding what Bill Belichick meant to this organization. And if you're going to give Tom Brady a statue, there should have been a Bill Belichick statue right next to it.
Or at least a bust somewhere.
Something. And it's like Bill Belichick doesn't even exist in this organization now.
Maybe it's coming.
It's all Tom Brady. Tom Brady got his jacket, right? In the Patriot Hall of Fame. They did that last year. Tom Brady's now getting a statue. This year, what is Bill Belichick getting? Other than a 24-year-old girlfriend with that's something.
It works out.
Is that what it is? They just felt like he's got that trophy girlfriend now on his side. He don't need a statue.
Yeah, it all
he don't need a
out.
jacket, a statue. I'm telling you, this is going to come back to.
Would you rather have a jacket or her?
Jordan, but they need to understand that they've got to let the past be the past. Bury some of those hatchets, because for this organization to finally get ahead and become that organization again that can get back to the Super Bowl and win championships, you can't disregard what Bill Belichick was to this organization. Tom Brady, 219 wins, 64 losses, 30-11 in the postseason, 14 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros, 6 championships. Bill Belichick won 266 games for the Patriots, 30 postseason victories.
How
3
many Pro
times
Bowls?
14.
Could you imagine if Super Bowl quarterbacks went to the Pro Bowl? He'd have a whole lot more.
Yeah, right? He would have. He would have had like 20. But
I'm sorry, I cut you off in the middle of Bill Belichick's.
But Bill Belichick, 3-time coach of the year, 1-time executive of the year, 6-time champion. He deserves the same respect that Tom Brady's getting. And,
I agree.
When you get to that pettiness now,
Almost.
but you're getting to a pettiness where, okay, we're just going to keep rewarding Tom Brady. Tom Brady also left the organization. Tom Brady also decided that Tampa Bay was a better option for him. And you're not disregarding that piece because you put him in your Hall of Fame. You're giving him a statue. But Bill Belichick and you had some disagreements. And now Bill Belichick's whole career with the Patriots doesn't exist. How is that possible?
Well, that's the thing that I don't like. Look, I'll be the first one to say that they needed a change, when he left. And I get it. Greatest coach, but they did need a change. Now, of course, I wasn't happy with who they replaced him with, but
again, there's that pettiness because they made a decision that clearly wasn't a better option. He won 4 games.
And it was done before it was done.
Yeah, Belichick won 4 games. Gerard Mayo won 4 games. It wasn't like an upgrade. Like if you went Vrabel or, you know what I mean, one of these coaches that were, already in the weeds there. That
anybody. It could have been anyone.
But it's, again, I think Robert Kraft and his sheer arrogance to say, look, I'm the Patriots owner. I make all the decisions. I made everything happen. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady were just the biggest part of this.
I don't like how they handled Belichick leaving New England. Not saying that they shouldn't have, but you still have to treat him like he's a champion because he brought this franchise to you. Not the other way around. Kraft didn't bring anything forward. He hired Belichick, and Belichick brought his wisdom, his knowledge, and his expertise to bring a franchise to glory for quite a long time.
And I know we've had this opinion before, Ron. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, but I don't think Tom Brady would have been the greatest quarterback of all time if Bill Belichick didn't give him the knowledge to look at
how to do it.
Right? How's the defense going to play this? How's the defense going to approach this? How are you going to beat their defense?
Yeah.
Tom's just a sponge. He soaked it all up. He crafted it and made it better. But Bill built that for Tom Brady. And we're going to disregard Bill Belichick. Tom Brady deserves a statue. And I want that to be known. It makes it sound like I'm saying Tom Brady shouldn't get a statue. Absolutely should. But then Bill Belichick should have been along for the same ride by now. And it's not happening. And they could say, oh, he's coaching in North Carolina. There's some conflict, whatever it may be. I don't buy that. I just buy the fact that
statue should have been with their arm around each other, with the other arm up, with the one.
Right? Like the first stroke, whatever it may have been. But it's like we disregard everything that Bill Belichick meant to this organization. And when you start to do that, and when you start to, I don't know if you remember, they had Babe Ruth's niece, cousin, aunt, whatever, sign a contract to go back to. They tried everything to break the curse.
Yeah.
Till it actually happened because they knew it became so petty. And you're doing it now with the Patriots and this whole organization of we're all going to make it seem like Bill Belichick was the problem and not the fact that he helped you get there.
Yeah, no, he did a lot. Look, I think the style that he was doing just kind of went out of style.
Yeah. I'm not saying he shouldn't have gone.
I mean, you spend 20 years with an organization.
It's a very long time. And a lot happens. And, you get married sometimes and you see these marriages sometimes after 20 years, people wake up and go I don't know if we love each other anymore. Because it's just been the same thing over and over again. And, right, you just dealt with it. I'm not saying Bill Belichick should have continued coaching the New England Patriots. You didn't have a plan, so you just fired him because you just wanted him out.
That's the thing.
And now you're not going to even recognize him as being the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah, they need to recognize him for it. And it is petty not doing it. I don't care what kind of a disagreement you had. It doesn't matter. What he did for the organization was remarkable.
So think about this, Ron. we talked about Bill Parcells. Remember when they said they were going to put Bill Parcells in the Patriots Hall of Fame? And Bill Parcells was a 500 coach.
Yeah, he
with the
didn't
New
win
England
anything.
Patriots. 500 got him to the Super Bowl, but he didn't win one. Bill Belichick won 266 games for this organization, plus 30 in the postseason. That's almost 300 wins.
He's won more in the postseason than probably 85% of all the coaches.
We're not going to give him a jacket or a statue? Like that's the only issue I have. Tom absolutely deserved it. But so does Belichick. And I would have rather seen them say, look, we're going to put these two in whatever, one on each side as you walk in the stadium to say, look, this is the dynasty that they created. But it's like we disregard it. And all they're trying to do is get more people in the stands because they know people love Tom Brady. That's great.
Yeah.
But you're just doing a disservice to this organization by disregarding what Bill Belichick did and what he meant for those six championships.
And it probably hurts him,
would be.
Belichick isn't gonna say anything. He's not gonna say anything, derogatory about the team or Kraft. He's just gonna do his thing, right? This is how he treated every game. This is how he treated every practice, and this is what he's going to continue to do. He's not going to create waves. He is just going to do what Bill does, and that's that. He's not going to have a conflict with the Crafts.
The Patriots organization really needs to figure this out because
they need to give him his due.
Do not wait till this man, passes away, and then we're gonna put a BB in. Like you're doing it wrong. You got an opportunity, make amends. Listen, he's moved on. You've moved on.
Yep.
Right. Let's.
They need to fix it.
Yeah.
At some point.
Agreed.
At some point soon.
Agreed. Like you can't keep recognizing Tom Brady and not recognize Bill Belichick as well. But all right, great conversation. Again, if you have an opinion and you're joining us live, let us know what you think as well. But we're going to move on, Ron, and have some fun with our starting five.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We thought we'd have a little bit of fun tonight. A little different. We're going to do some of our starting five team mascots of all time. And again, there's no right or wrong here. And I'm sure we're going to have different thoughts on this. But I thought this was a fun one because, people forget some of these, what they mean, these mascots to the actual games and how fans look forward to it. But you are first tonight, Ron. So I'm looking forward to your honorable mentions. And then we'll get into our starting five.
Yeah, I only have 5 honorable mentions.
There's a shocker. Ron's 75, starting everything.
So
my top 5,
he
everything.
would have been number 10.
I can't.
Or she. Prowl for the Minnesota Lynx.
Okay. All right.
Prowl.
Okay.
Had to get somebody in there for,
Okay, for the WNBA. Look at you. All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
James,
number
what's
9
going on?
would have been Blades for the Boston Bruins.
Interesting. Okay.
I like Blades.
Okay.
Like it's a good looking mascot.
Okay, I believe you. I'm taking your word for it.
Just saying. Now the real honorable mentions. The Raptor for the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, I thought about it. I didn't put him in, but it came close. It came close. He almost made it.
I think he's got some actual basketball skills.
If I did 10 like you, he would have made it.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't.
Big if. 10. My number 7 was Benny the Bull.
Benny the Bull was one of my honorable mentions. One of mine as well.
He's another
Sammy the Slug from where? What team, James?
Sammy the Slug.
I don't know. But I had Benny the Bull as an honorable mention.
And my bubble mascot was Raymond from Tampa Bay Rays. I actually like him.
Okay. All right.
Like he's good.
Good. I had Benny the Bull as one of my honorable mentions. I'm going to throw Pat Patriot in there because you throw the Bruins guy in. So if you're going to be a homer, I'll be a homer. And then
I like the Minutemen too. You know,
oh yeah, that's a good right when they do for the touchdowns. We didn't get to see that a lot last year, so I almost forgot about them. And then Hugo from the Hornets.
Yes.
Like I remember when the Hornets first came out, and that was like a big thing. Yeah. So Hugo from the Hornets made my honorable mention. He was my bubble guy. If you have these bubble guys. Sammy the Slug from where, James? I need to know. Where's Sammy the Slug? Because he wasn't one of mine. But let's start our starting five here, Ron. Who do you have at number 5? University.
Oh, my number 5. I
Santa
love
Cruz.
this.
Wow.
I love this one. This guy right over here, Stuff the Magic Dragon.
That's a great name.
Orlando
Isn't
Magic.
that a great name? Stuff.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a perfect name. I love it. Love it. Stuff. Magic got it right when they created that.
Yeah, and I like his things come out of his nose and
yeah.
And then when they did the dunk contest with Aaron Gordon, and he's like, yeah, Stuff. That's a good one at number 5. Number 5 for me, Delta State University Fighting Okra. The hell does that look like? All right.
Oh, the banana slugs.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. At number 5 for me, I had Rocky from the Denver Nuggets. I like Rocky. I mean, he's the one. He'd come down in the with the string, down the stadium, and so Rocky was number 5 for me.
One.
I like Rocky. All right, number 4, Ron.
Number 4,
sports mascot.
I have the Philadelphia Flyers Gritty.
Okay, I saw Gritty. He's orange.
I like Gritty.
Right? He's orange. Right, Gritty?
He's orange, yes.
Yeah.
I think,
I saw him on.
I do. Never mind. I'll say it next time. Go ahead.
Okay. No, that's fine. You got something? Go ahead.
No. I'll save it for when you do number 2.
Number 4 for me, the Suns Gorilla.
Oh, yes. I was thinking about that one too.
Like, there was a point when Barkley and he was there, and that Gorilla became like you saw him all the time on everything. So I had the Suns Gorilla.
That was another mascot that actually had some talent too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He used to do the dunks off the trampoline. Yep. King Baby Cake from the Pelicans.
King Baby Cake. I don't remember that. Is it still going?
What is James? What are you watching, bro? Well, then.
I mean, it's from the Pelicans.
Who watches the Pelicans? Maybe that's why.
That's a problem too. So nobody watches the Pelicans.
Is that like a baby cake? Is that like a crab cake? What is the Pelicans? How's that going? I don't know. All right. Who do you have at number 3?
Number 3, I do have Wally the Green Monster. And,
Homer.
It could be so much more. It could be so much more if they just let him go. Don't give him any hesitations. Just do what you do. Be the actual monster.
Okay.
But I think the whole concept is great.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he does some things like throw some pies at people and stuff like that. He's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, I like him.
And he has a girlfriend too, Tessie.
Yes, he does.
And none of these others can say that.
One of mine does. At number 3 for me, and I can't stand the fact that I'm going to say it, but I like him because I think he rides in a 4-wheeler. Casey Wolf from the Chiefs comes in on the 4-wheeler, and he's got a Wolf Stanford tree. The Stanford tree is actually a good one. That is a weird one. I agree with that one.
I know. I was watching. I was looking at that today. I'm like,
it's like a Christmas tree. Yes. Casey Wolf, though. And you know why? I don't know if you remember this or heard this story, but there was a guy that was robbing for years, and he was like one of the biggest fans of the Chiefs. They actually put him on, and he used to wear a wolf costume while he was robbing people. So I don't know if he got that from the Casey Wolf mascot.
Yeah, but see, shouldn't it be a chief?
No, because it's Casey Wolf. I like it.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense.
I know, but I like it. I like that.
That's what took it off the board for me.
4-wheeler. Comes in on a four-wheeler.
Doesn't matter.
Because the Seminole, you could have done the Florida Seminole too, because he comes in on the horse. All right, who do you have at number 2?
Number 2, another Philly mascot. I have Philly the Fanatic. Oh my God, that is just awesome. There's only one better than that.
Okay.
But Philly Fanatic is spectacular. Spectacular. It looks like Qbert with fur.
He does have a little Qbert. Yeah.
But he came before Qbert, so
you had Tessie, as a girlfriend. My number 2 has a wife, Mr. Met, Met, and Mrs. Met, and right, you cannot see a game without seeing Mr. Met and that big baseball head.
Mr. Met.
Right,
I forgot
Mr.
about
Met
Mr.
at
Met.
number 2 for me. Because I was just like, you cannot see a Mets game and not find him in the state, that big baseball head. And then
Mrs.
Mrs.
Met
Met
would have been my number 6.
And Mrs. Met, I think there was trouble in paradise for a little bit. I think she was messing around with a different mascot. I think there was like a rumor about Mrs. Met. Just saying, but I think they worked it out. All right, so I can't wait to see who you have at number 1.
I have the mascot of all mascots at number 1. It's got to be the San Diego Chicken. That's what made mascots cool.
Okay.
That's the Hall of Famer on the Mount Rushmore of all mascots.
Very good.
Is the San Diego Chicken.
Yeah, I agree with you. Very good mascot.
So funny.
Didn't he do something with Bob Uecker and stuff, right?
He was making fun of Earl Weaver.
Yeah.
He's done it all. He's done it all.
Yeah. No, that was a very good one. But I had it number 1 right there, the Philly Fanatic. And I love when he puts his belly up and he does all these kind of weird fights with the umpires. Like he does.
Oh, yes.
Another one that rides a four-wheeler.
He got it from him.
He rides a four-wheeler too through the stadium.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, no, Philly Fanatic.
Oh, yeah, those were clearly my top 2. Everybody else didn't,
Listen, it was fun. We had a little fun. So who do you pick? Number 1. I like the Stanford Tree Joe too. I like that one.
That is pretty good. There's some really odd ones out there.
Because that was, and then I'm going to have to look up King Baby Cake.
Like, neither one of us had, like, the real animals in there. Like the Philadelphia Eagle.
That's 2. You know what I mean? You need characters. Mr. Rudy, Dallas Cowboys mascot. Okay. I don't know if it's one. I wouldn't put him at the top, but yeah. Does he have a Mrs. Rudy?
Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders were their mascot.
Do they have Mrs. Rudy? Maybe one of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? Got a little weird there. We're getting a little weird. Let's talk some NBA, Ron. That was a great segment, though. That was a great start at 5. That was fun.
That's good.
Indiana Pacers, Ron, have taken a 2-1 lead in the NBA Finals. Who needs to win Game 4 more?
Oh, absolutely, OKC. Because I just they're letting it slip away. If they go down 3-1,
I say I disagree. I think it's the Pacers, and this is why. OKC had one of the best home records in the NBA this season. If you let that go 2-2, Danny thinks OKC agrees with you, but think about this. If you let it go 2-2, giving one away at home, and then OKC wins Game 5, all the pressure goes back on you. You have to be able to beat them in Game 6 and then face them in Game 7 at home. You got to go up 3-1 in this series if you want to legitimately have a shot to win it, because then that means OKC has to win 3 straight. If the Pacers allow it's an even series. And I like my shot at 2 games in OKC versus 1 game in Indiana. And so I think the Pacers really need to win.
I get it. But if OKC goes down to 3-1,
they
have a mountain to climb.
But you think they could win game 5, right, at home?
Yeah.
I mean, game 6 at that point puts a lot more pressure on Indiana to win.
Yeah, but I don't think that Indiana can't go to OKC and win game 7. I think they can because they've proven that they can win, in the clutch.
Agreed, but if OKC wins game 4,
hasn't look, OKC tends to win by a lot. They haven't played close games like this. So they don't know how to respond in close games. Indiana does. Been there, done that throughout the whole playoff run. So they can play a close game. I don't think OKC can play a close game. They either win by a lot or they're losing the game.
I don't know. I think
if it gets into a close game, back and forth, I'm taking Indiana.
I gotcha. I just think the Pacers need a 3-1 lead to legitimately win, because now you got to win 1 out of 3. I like my chances there. I think it goes 2-2. You lose game 5. Now you're down. Now it's a must-win game 6 for you, which puts a ton of pressure on you.
Yeah, it does. But I think they handled pressure. So.
Okay. All right. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
When you think about this series, it's tonight, isn't it? Is it tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about guys that I like Indiana's bench better.
Yeah, but both teams have a great bench. Listen, this is again, we've been blessed with the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoff finals. Like, both of these series have been great, and you said it earlier.
Yeah.
Right, and they're both fast. They're both fun. They both play like some defense. Like, it's been back and forth in both of these. This is anybody's series as well. I agree with you, though. I mean, OKC needs it more to kind of keep it even, but I think if the Pacers lose, it puts more pressure on them than OKC.
I don't consider any of these teams to be out of it, even after a loss. It's like what we're seeing is they're going back and forth. One team just wins a game, and then the other team comes back and wins it again. It's the same thing as the NHL, and they're doing the same thing here. I think these two teams have been spectacular. The only difference is the clutch of Indiana seems to be present more than
right.
clutch.
Halliburton. Halliburton seemed to step up when needed, right? Hit the big shot. We haven't seen it a lot with OKC because, to your point, they've kind of steamrolled most of the games they've won. It's not been a final shot. SGA has to hit something. It's always been they're up by.
There's something to be said about playing a lot of close games and winning those games, because that makes you prepared to take that shot.
Yeah. No, you may be right. You may be right. I'm looking forward to it, though. What a great series.
Yes.
What another great series. We are truly.
And the fact that, to me, it doesn't matter who wins this series, because I don't hate either team. I think I like the players on the teams.
Yeah, I think I'm semi-rooting for Indiana, because I just think
I am too, a little more, but I wouldn't be upset if OKC won.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Especially considering Durant isn't there to win it.
Oh, poor Durant. Could be in Boston. No.
Or Westbrook.
All right, Ron. Who needs it more? If you're out there live, let us know. Danny, you're already OKC. We agree with you. Ron agrees with you for sure. But let's talk some Major League Baseball. Boston Red Sox called up Roman Anthony this week. Can he turn their season around? Is this going to be the missing piece for the Boston Red Sox?
I don't even know what to think about this team. Now, they're playing a lot of kids.
I can't wait for this. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Which is fine, which is what I was asking the Bruins to do this past season, right? play the kids. The problem is they don't have a good attitude as a team.
Chicken cooked in bacon fat. I don't even. James, do tell.
I think that's what
Wrong
he's
chat.
comparing.
Wrong chat, guys. My bad. I was like,
I thought that's what he was comparing the Red Sox to.
I mean, yeah, they could be cooked chicken and bacon fat. That's hilarious.
Look, I just don't. I don't know. I don't like the team.
Yeah, look.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I like a lot of the players on the team. I like, what they. I don't what it looks like they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But
you sometimes you get these kids, right? They come up, you get a spark, you think like, okay, but their problem wasn't hitting, right? And he came into this thing and they were like, he hit so well in Worcester. I got my Rhode Island accent came out good in that. Worcester. But he's made it to the pros. He's got 12 at bats, 1 hit. He's batting .083 with 3 RBIs. He's they horrible defensively, one of the worst defensive teams. He had an error his first game with the Red Sox. They're 21st in ERA in Major League Baseball. They're currently giving
where's he playing?
Right field. But they need pitching. They need pitching. They need some things that are going to help that piece of the game. This is a nice piece because you think, but I think they might have rushed him up there too. And he's not showing. I mean, granted, it's very early, and you never know, he could go on a streak. But to have 12 at bats and 1 hit it would be concerning to me.
See, I don't think they have a good dugout.
Yeah, maybe they don't have the leaders in there like they back in the day where they had some of those guys that.
I don't know who they had at third base. They had some guy playing third base, and I'm like, what is going on with this? What is going on with this? First of all, you're only as good as your star.
Which Rafael Devers, right? We've said.
And yes, he's hitting, but that attitude is throughout the whole dugout.
Yeah.
They need a big change.
And I think
they need change.
You know the funny thing, I think they kept Cora based on the fact they thought he could kind of mitigate some of that negativity in the clubhouse and kind of get play because he's a player's coach or manager. And I don't think it's working. And now they're trying any little thing to say, okay, well, let's bring this kid up because all the fans have wanted him to come up. That's great. But if, to your point, you've got somebody in the clubhouse who's just negative and bringing the team down, it doesn't matter. This kid's not going to be successful.
Yeah.
Based
Look,
off of that.
I get, okay, so you got Bregman coming in and you whine and complain about, I'm a third baseman. You're not a very good third baseman. You're a third baseman, but not a very good one. Okay. So doesn't want to play first when your first baseman goes down.
Yeah.
Right? Fine. I can understand that. But don't tell me when Bregman goes down, you ain't playing third base. You're a third baseman. Remember that statement? You want to prove to everybody that you're a third baseman? Then get your butt out there and play third base. And then play so well that, we can't put Bregman back out there at third. He's going to have to play somewhere else. But no, he whines and complains and doesn't want to play third base either. So you know what? Sit on the bench. I don't care at this point. I don't care. Because it doesn't matter if you're in the lineup, you're still not going to win because you don't have enough pieces in place to win this year.
Yeah, so again...
I don't care if you sit and rot on that bench. You can sulk all you want. You can stay home.
Yeah, listen, we've said it. Devers has not helped this team. He is clearly the, I guess, anointed leader of the clubhouse, and here's a guy that's refusing to play just based on that. that Trevor Story contract has been horrible for the Red Sox. Right now that he's even healthy, he's still not hitting and doing anything that
stinks.
That
What
makes
is he
them
batting
any
like 217 or something
Yeah,
like that?
so,
I'm like, really? You weren't going to get this from Bogarts?
And the funny thing, you keep sitting back and you keep saying, okay, well, defensively was a big issue last year. They didn't address it. So
No.
there's still a poor defensive team who have too many errors, and you're continuously seeing it. So you could call up whoever you want. I just think they put this kid in such a bad situation that he's only doomed, and there's nobody around him that's going to help. Usually you succeed when there's a guy in front of you or behind you that it forces them to pitch to you. If they're not worried about anybody around you, they you know what I mean? They don't have to pitch to you either. They're not going to give you good looks. So I think it's hurting them.
And they're losing a lot of one-run games. You know why they're losing a lot of those one-run games? Because their defense is so terrible. Their situation running is terrible. Their situation hitting is terrible. And their situation pitching is terrible. They can't get out of their own way. First inning, they're giving up 6 runs. You're already out of it before you even get up to the plate. Yeah, and it's just because you're not calling the right pitches. And I'm sorry, when you got a young pitcher out there and he's telling you, no, I don't want to throw that pitch. Tough. Throw the pitch that is being asked of you. And if you don't, you're throwing it away, and it's like you're just giving up home runs and doubles and stuff. That's what you're doing with those. Don't shake off the catcher. Oh, and how about this? How about getting a catcher that can actually call a game? I don't know, maybe.
But I mean, nowadays, is there really?
There's very good catchers out there.
But I'm saying you don't see it as much now. There's so much research analytics that half of the time it's like they're just looking at a chart and it tells them what to do. You know, the feel of the game back in the day, and
there's definitely not that.
Yeah, it's changed. But
I don't know. I just
wish the kid good luck. I wish him luck. I mean, but I feel like they put him in such a bad situation. It was the wrong time to call him up. It's the wrong time.
Well, I mean,
they're too disarray right now. They're looking for a spot.
Too many rookies playing.
Yeah, and you can't expect this kid to come in and just dominate like he did in AAA. Like it's.
I mean, what do they got? Like 4 rookies in their lineup right now?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this, buddy. Big weekend. Here we go again. New York at Boston. All right.
It's not a big weekend.
Let's see. Come on, you guys. 2 out of 3 last time.
What? The Red Sox took 2 out of 3?
Yeah, last time. Yeah.
Stupid idiots.
Yeah. All right, Ron. Let's move on to our split decisions. Our split decision segment, basically, we ask each other 2 more likely scenarios, and we got to make a decision. You are first, Ron, this week, so your first split decision.
All right. Assuming we just did baseball, I might as well start it out with that. Who is more likely to stay on top of the leaderboards in their category? Cal Raleigh in home runs with 26. Aaron Judge batting average 392. Pete Alonso 63 RBI. And Kadai Singh with a 1.47 ERA for the New York Mets.
I'm going to say the ERA thing doesn't stick because you always get a couple of games that. So he's out. Home run. I don't even know who the kid is.
Cal Raleigh?
Yeah.
You don't like him? You don't think he's going to stay on top?
I don't think he'll stay on top. So that leaves me with Alonso with RBIs and Judge with batting average. That's a tough one. I think Aaron Judge wins the batting title with his batting average. So but a lot 63. I mean, a lot of this. I'd probably say it's more likely that Aaron Judge finishes because I think the next guy's at like 360 or something. So that'd be a massive drive. Like he'd have to have a stretch where he just doesn't hit at all. Yeah, Danny thinks Aaron Judge.
What happens if he gets hurt and doesn't qualify?
Yeah, I don't know. He seemed to the last couple of years he figured out some things with his body. He's not as fragile as he used to be.
Okay.
I don't know. These guys nowadays with all these different diets and workouts and
avocados and
I don't know.
Steroids.
LeBron James, what they say? LeBron James spends like $1 million a year on just his body.
On steroids?
Maybe. I don't know, but it's working. He's lasted 20 years. All right, Ron.
Or baby oil. Maybe it's baby oil.
That's a whole different party for another day. Hey, all right. Your first split decision, Ron. Which NBA player is more likely not to get back to an NBA Finals in his career? Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Nikolai Jokic? Which is not going to be back to an NBA, more likely not to be back in an NBA Finals in their career?
Wow, that's a tough one. That might be your best one ever.
That is extremely tough.
Because
that means
I gotta figure out
they could move. They could
next
go to
5 years. Who's gonna be there, right? Who is not? Oh.
Danny thinks
man,
Tatum.
I don't want to say it.
Danny says Tatum.
I actually agree with Danny. I actually agree with him. And it's because what's going to happen with the Celtics after the season is over, I think it's getting dismantled. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to get back to it. Giannis, I think he's going to sign with someone and he's going to go to the finals.
They seem to think Giannis is moving. Is the rumor now out there? And I would say this: Denver too. Don't disregard them breaking up some of that team.
They could, but it's also possible that Giannis joins that team.
And the West is very tough.
It is.
So,
but I'm going to say Tatum. I'm going to agree with Danny, and I'm going to say Tatum.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not saying I don't agree, but I'm just saying I don't know if it's easy.
I don't want to agree with it, but out of the three, I think that might be the one.
All right.
I know it's not going to happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Your second split decision, Ron.
Oh, that one makes me sad, though. And it's not his fault. I will say that. Not his fault.
No.
All right. Which center is more likely to find a new home next season?
Okay.
Sam Bennett of the Florida Panthers, Jonathan Tavares of Toronto Maple Leafs, or Nicholas Backstrom of the Washington Capitals. They're all free agents.
Bennett is the one that's leading the Stanley Cups, right? Oh,
goals.
In goals. I think he's definitely getting a massive con. They already talked about it. I think on last night's broadcast, 8 to 10 million just based on what he's doing in the postseason. So I could see him definitely going somewhere else. He'd probably be a team's top choice right now. It's like an audition right now for him, and he's killing it. Like he's definitely proving that he's worth the money. So I would go with Bennett, honestly. I think the other guys, like Tavares, has been around for a while.
Yeah. They are strapped for cash, though, Toronto.
And I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, if you were going to tell me who's more likely to go somewhere first, I could see Bennett based on what he's just done in the recent, people.
No, they all make sense because Backstrom, he's
Washington's
making, I think, like $10 million.
Yeah.
And he's injured a lot.
Yeah. And so if you're asking me, I'm going Bennett just based on what he's doing in the postseason because teams are going to definitely he's on everybody's radar right now, and they know Florida's not. And Florida's not going to be able to re-sign him. So,
Yeah.
So no, good question though. Great one.
It is a good question. That was a good answer.
That was a really good one. All right, Ron, your second split decision. Is it more likely Bill Belichick strengthens his legacy, ruins his legacy, or nothing changes with his coaching legacy since he's at North Carolina? Will he strengthen his legacy? Will he ruin his legacy? Or will it basically not really matter?
Here's the thing, because he's going to be in North Carolina football. Now,
which isn't a big school. It is not very good in football.
No. So I can't say that he's going to ruin it. So it has to be one of the others.
Danny thinks nothing changes.
I tend to agree with
two in a row. You agree with Danny.
2 in a row. I'm agreeing with Danny. Nothing changes.
See, I think he ruins it.
Yeah, I don't think he can.
Because if this team stinks, then are you that good of a coach? Like, you can't even coach college kids.
If it stinks, it's because they can't get good players.
But he's still the greatest coach.
It's North Carolina football.
He should be able to coach shut guys.
He'd have a better chance in doing basketball.
He's thinking, nothing changed. Easy question. I don't know, Danny. What if this team wins 2 games? You start to question his last few years.
That'd be 2 more than I expect them to win.
New England, Ray stinks. I don't know. It could be interesting.
What's their record last year?
The funny thing is, you know why this question? I thought about this question. The other day, he was on campus, like promoting a volleyball game. He's like, guys, come out. There's a big volleyball game going to be happening on North Carolina. Look, what are we doing? This is Bill Belichick, man.
Yeah,
this
is and he doesn't care about what's going on at this point.
He's been at 9 Super Bowls
from some 24-year-old, so he doesn't care.
You think she's like hitting up campus and with some of these dudes, though? You can't tell me. I mean, come on.
I don't want the visions.
Oh my gosh! But I mean, he's probably like, you know what, Bill? I'm gonna go to this campus party tonight. I'll see you later. Come on. I don't know. All right, my friend, let's talk some NHL. Chris Kreider, he waived his no-trade clause and now will join the Anaheim Ducks. Good move for the team. You like it?
Yeah, I'm still reeling from the visions. Is it a good move for what team?
I think it's calm down. Volleyball is cool. I didn't say it wasn't a cool sport. You got the greatest coach supposedly of all time, Danny, sitting there telling people to go watch volleyball. Like, he's not even talking about his football team. He's talking about volleyball games in North Carolina.
Talking about volleyball.
What are you talking about? Football.
Not a game, but volleyball.
When I asked this question, I think, honestly, it works out for both teams. This worked out for both teams because the Ducks are trying to get back into the postseason. They haven't been in the postseason since 2018. They're trying to get players that
they're going to get there this year.
Right, they're getting players now that have some experience, some grit, veterans that can actually help some of these younger kids. And then for the Rangers, it frees up $6.5 million in cap space, which allows them to do something to make a move that could benefit their team as well. So I thought it was great for both teams. I mean, Kreider though in last season was one of his worst seasons. 68 games, 22 goals, 8 assists. He only had 30 points, which is worse since 2020, but we don't count that.
8 assists is pretty bad.
And we don't even count that because 2020 was like a half a season. It wasn't even a full season. A -5, which was one of the worst in his career. You know what I mean? Like lowest points in lowest plus minus of his career. So is he on the downside? That could be the only issue. Anaheim. Did they get a player now that's clearly on the downside?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, where he's going to slot in with this team. He's going to have some talent at center. He's going to play with Leo Carlson, the kid. He's a very talented player.
This is our first. Danny is attacking me tonight. I like it.
And rightfully so.
It's just tired. Leave him alone. Leave Bill Belichick alone. I will.
He's just having a good time.
He's having a great time on campus watching volleyball.
Yes, he's enjoying college life.
Volleyball. I don't know. You're right, Danny. I'm sorry.
80-year-old college student.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, Chris Kreider.
But no, Kreider is going to be with Leo Carlson and Killorn. And I think that's a good person to put on the wing with Carlson because, you know, you're going to get some good, effective chances, you know, on net. Do I think he's done? No, I don't think he's done. I don't see him scoring 40, but I think 30 would probably be right around where he'd be at this year. And that, if you're going to get 30 goals from your second line left wing, I think they'll take that.
Yeah.
They're not going to move Strome, Vetrano, and Terry because they work really well together. So that's what it looks like. And McTavish and Zegras is going to stay together as well. So he will fit in with Carlson. I think Carlson has a lot of skill, and he might actually help the veteran, you know, get those skates moving.
Yeah, listen, Anaheim has to do something. They've been, you know, basement dwellers in one of these franchises now for the last few years that just, you don't, you know, you basically circle it on your calendar as a W. And you can see at least,
Boston.
Right. But you sit back and say, okay, what are they doing to legitimately put somebody with experience that has been there and kind of can do it? And I mean, I like this move for them.
I know people were like, oh, it's taking them too long to develop and stuff like that. But Pat Verbeek has only been there a couple of years. So he had a lot of shifting around to do to get the players, you know, where they wanted. And with the kids, McTavish and Carlson, I think that is what they needed. And along with Zegras, I mean, that's a good formula. And now I think they're at the point where, okay, let's get a name and see what these kids could do.
And think about this, Ron. The Detroit Pistons of the NBA were one of the worst teams, you know, 2 years in a row. And then, you know, these young kids started to develop, get more comfortable, right? You get a couple of veteran pieces in there.
Good analogy.
And it doesn't have to be superstars. Kreider's not a superstar, but he's good enough to teach these kids, help continue to develop them.
Absolutely.
I love what Anaheim did with this move. And then even for the Rangers, like instead of keeping a guy that clearly is not fitting with the team anymore or is as productive, right? You don't need that veteran presence. They already have a ton of that. So they're saying, let's free up some cap space. Let's get some money to possibly get somebody in there to benefit our team.
I would probably think that they're going to go defense.
And then Anaheim gets a player that's going to do what he should be doing is kind of molding and teaching these young kids how to be successful and how to get through some of the slumps.
No, I think it was a great move especially for Anaheim.
And I think that's why
I do like it for the Rangers because now they have that money and you know, they could do something. I think they should go defense, but you never know anymore because they could just go offense again. I mean, when you think that, you know, Mitch Marner is going to be available, Tavares is going to be available, there's going to be some talent. Brad Marchand is available, who also plays the same position as Kreider. Just saying.
Yeah, so you never know.
Just saying.
But even this, he waived his no trade clause, right? 15 teams, Anaheim being one of them, right? Maybe he's starting to realize in his career too, maybe I've got to be a different type of player. So even a growth for Kreider.
Tired of the organization.
Right. He could say, hey, look, maybe I got to be a different kind of player now. And this is a great opportunity for me. So I think it'll work out for both teams. So it was a good move. Good move.
Yeah.
Good move.
I agree.
All right, Ron. It is time for pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
at our pick and roll
I
segment.
didn't have time for all the fancy graphics.
Episode.
I had a
24.
hard time with Randy Johnson.
It's season 5. This is a very good list.
Oh
All
my
these
God, this
pitches
list is-
won at least. All these pitches had a 24-win season at some point in their career, and those were Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, Dwight Gooden, Steve Carlton, and Ferguson Jenkins. We are going to rank them from 5 to 1. Ron, you are first this week, so you're pick and roll.
All right. I will say, looking at this list, I did pretty well on picking until I saw some numbers, and then it swayed me a little bit.
You like the pre-pick, and then you go through the numbers, right?
I do.
That's right.
I do.
Yeah.
All right. So number 5, I have Fergie Jenkins. Great pitcher.
Yeah.
Look at his numbers: 284 wins, 226 losses, a little more than I would have liked to, but still 60 game over 500. That's fantastic, right? 3.34 ERA, very good ERA, especially in the time it was. 49 shutouts, tremendous. 4,500 innings pitched.
Mm-hmm.
3,192 strikeouts. The guy's a Hall of Famer. He won a Cy Young. He's a 3-time All-Star. Just didn't have the accolades like the other guys.
Agreed.
Number 4, and this is where the surprise is. I thought for sure he would be number 3, but I have John Smoltz at number 4.
Interesting.
It was really, really close.
Wow.
Smoltz, 213 wins, 155 losses, 3.33 ERA, 16 shutouts, 3,473 innings pitched, 3,084 strikeouts, Hall of Famer, World Series champion, has a Cy Young Award, 8-time All-Star, Silver Slugger, even a Rolaids Relief Award for the best relief pitcher in the league. And he also has a National League Championship Series MVP. And he won a Rookie of the Year as well. I have Dwight Gooden, number 3. And when I first saw the players, I was like, okay, you're number 4. 194 wins, only 112 losses. That is pretty good. 3.51 ERA, a little higher than John Smoltz, but he did have 24 shutouts, which is more. He had 2,800, and I think that's a 60 innings pitched. 2,293 strikeouts, so he did have less strikeouts, but 2 World Series, 1 Cy Young. He won a Triple Crown. So Smoltz didn't have that. And I think that outweighs most of that other stuff that he was ahead. 4-time All-Star, less than Smoltz, but he did win an ERA title. John Smoltz did not. And a Silver Slugger as well. Oh, wait. I said Smoltz had the Rookie of the Year. It's Dwight Gooden. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yes.
But that ERA title and the Triple Crown, and the extra World Series, I think that weighed a little more.
Okay.
And just the fact that, I don't know, when I think of John Smoltz, I think a very serviceable pitcher, but I don't think all-star. I don't think great, you know? Gooden, in his prime, for like a 3-4 year stretch, he was fantastic. And I just weighed a little more. And I know maybe not so much of a nice guy. I don't know his personality, but I know he had some issues. But I still put him ahead. And those numbers should be in the Hall of Fame if it's just the numbers. 1 and 2 were so difficult.
It was. I agree.
And I'm still not certain that I got this right. But Steve Carlton, which is one of my favorite pitchers of all time, I put him at number 2. 329 wins, more than number 1. 244 losses, more than number 1.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably not a good thing.
3.22 ERA, only 0.07 less. So that is a non-factor. 55 shutouts, more than number 1. 5,217 innings pitched, more than number 1.
By quite a lot.
A lot, yes. 3,031 strikeouts, a lot less than number 1.
3,000 what? It was 4,136. You got about 700
Strikeouts?
less. Yes.
Oh, did I put a wrong number there?
You may have, but it's still 700 less.
Still 700 less. Okay. Hall of Famer, 2 World Series, more than number 1. 4 Cy Young Awards, 1 less than number 1. 1 Triple Crown, same as number 1. 10-time All-Star, the same. 1 Gold Glove, which number 1 did not have a Gold Glove, but here is the biggest difference that I saw. 1 ERA title for Steve Carlton. 3 less than Randy Johnson, who I have at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big reason why I have Randy Johnson ahead.
Yeah, I could
it
see
is
that.
Splitting hairs.
It is. It was a very tough one. And we saw it almost identical. I agree with you. Fergie Jenkins, great numbers just against these other 4. He had to be 5. Only 1 Cy Young and 3 All-Stars. I had Dwight Gooden at 4.
Number 4.
And,
it was close. Let me
the,
tell you.
The saves made a difference because Smoltz eventually changed his, career with the save. 154 saves.
Yeah, and I didn't put that down as one of the numbers, and I probably should have. That probably would have brought me back over to John Smoltz.
And that's why I did it, because he kind of reinvented his career. And think about it. You win a Rolaids on top of winning a Cy,
something like 40-something saves that season.
Yeah, so I just thought Smoltz deserved 3. I went Carlton at 2 as well, but I agree with you. I think his numbers, it was plucking hairs. The 4 ERA titles for Randy Johnson was just overwhelming to me. Like, he just dominated for, 4 out of, Carlton's great. 1. And then the strikeouts, you know what I mean?
And they were both durable pitchers, too.
1,100 less innings to have 700 more strikeouts. You're just talking sheer dominance. So, other than Smoltz and Gooden,
could you imagine if this was your rotation?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, you'd be winning.
Would you lose
150 games? Every so often they throw a bad one. It'd be like 150 and 12 for the season, right?
And when you think about it, these guys pitched a lot of innings.
And if Doc was, he was dominating when he was.
Yeah, he just had a little problem.
Yeah, that wasn't the chalk from the grip. But again, think about that too. To your point, it would be very difficult not to put him in the top 3 if he had actually pitched a little more. His career kind of got derailed a little bit. 2,800 innings was the least on this list. So again, if he was in the 35 to 4,000 range, he probably would have put up, very good numbers.
Because when I look at Doc Gooden, he reminds me, and I know Pedro came after him, but they remind me of very similar. Yeah,
they
pitchers.
Weren't big guys, right? They weren't not like a Clemens. Clemens was just a big, massive body. These guys dominated power, and they weren't big. They weren't big guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Great list.
This was a great list.
Great list.
I gotta give you all the props for this one. This was a tough one.
It was.
This took me a lot of time with just
Agreed.
5 players.
Yeah, right. Agreed. All right, Ron. Before we move on to our prediction segment, let's go through our Hall of Fame nominees. So our Hall of Fame is there. They are on the right. We just inducted Nolan Ryan and Jaromir Jagr are the newest members of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. These are voted on by the fans. So they have been inducted. All the guys on the left there are athletes who currently have not made the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, but we'll get another shot at somebody. Ty Cobb with 0% still is amazing to me. But when he gets another shot, I think we'll be all right there. But we currently have the NBA open with Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wes Unseld, Bob McAdoo, and Willis Reed. Right now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar leading that voting. But go to the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook. That poll is open currently. Cast your votes to help get one of these athletes inducted into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, as well as
Willis.
Yeah.
What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about? As well as for soccer, football, Ronaldo, Zinedine Zidane, Paulo Maldini, Roberto Carlos, and Luis Figo. All up for nomination for the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame.
Did you go Ronaldo or did you go Luis Figo?
I went Ronaldo because Ronaldo is, but I should have went Figo because he's Portuguese.
Yes, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, very good.
Who's winning on that? Is it Ronaldo?
No, Zidane currently is leading. Currently leading that. So, yeah. So, again, go to Facebook at the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page. Cast your votes. This will continue for the entire month of June. And then we will have our 2 newest members of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. So take some time.
It's exciting. I can't wait to see who wins these because there is some talent on those lists.
Yeah, sometimes it's very hard to pick. It is very hard to pick.
Good
and I'm
luck.
sure, especially with soccer, sometimes you just go with your home country or one of those players that, the teams you really like. So
there's some great players here.
Yeah, very good players. All right, Ron.
I've heard of all of them.
Hey, you're all right, buddy. Good job. Let's look at this predictions. Last week, not so good. James cleaned up though. He won last week, 5-4. I went 4-5. Ron 3-6. If you're live, let us know.
James, you got to send me your address.
You don't want your gifts, I guess.
I don't know, but he should get one.
How about Ron will personally deliver it to you, James?
Yeah, okay, right.
Danny, we're gonna drive he'll fly to California for you. All right. It is time to make our predictions. Tonight, Ron, NBA Finals. You've got the Oklahoma City Thunder at the Indiana Pacers, game 2 with the Pacers leading 2-1. Who do you have?
I'm going to go Indiana.
I think you made the wise choice. I also went Indiana because I think the Pacers do take it and go up 3-1.
So
whoa, okay. Come on over. Hang out, Ron.
Can I go with Indiahoma?
Look at James said, go hang out, man. You guys have a good time. Have a good time. OKC at the Indiana Pacers. Who do you have? Who do you guys out there have? The Indians. All right. James is going Indians.
Oh, Indiana.
All right. I don't know if Danny's still on. Danny might not be on anymore.
Come on, Danny.
Danny going, James, Indiana. Okay, I think we figured it out with Indiana. I knew who you, it's all right, buddy. James he has to be perfect. That's who he is. That's who he is. All right.
I don't think there's like a little emoji for Pacers.
No, there probably isn't. Tomorrow, got the Florida Panthers at the Edmonton Oilers. Game 5, Ron. You know what? I went Florida here. I think Florida think they're going to realize they let one slip away last night, and I think they come back and they win Game 5, even on enemy ice.
I'm going Edmonton.
Okay.
I'm going to have faith.
George
McDavid
Michaels.
is going to explode for 3 points.
Oh, I think George Michaels.
2 goals.
You ever hear the Limp Bizkit words in her faith too? Florida. James going Florida.
I'm on an island by myself.
All right. Tonight, probably already had the first pitch. New York Yankees at the Boston Red Sox. 3-game series. Ron, who do you have?
I'm going the Yankees. I'm going to stay with the formula.
Glutton for punishment as a Yankee fan. I'm picking New York again. And the last time we did this, New York lost the series. So don't learn from my mistakes, I guess. But Yankees at the Red Sox. That game's probably already gone. I wonder what you want me to check a score now?
Probably already 7-0 by now.
Let's see. What do you think? It is 0-0 at the end of one.
Oh, well, they didn't give up 7 runs in the first
All right.
game.
James going the Sox. I think this is exactly how it played out last time we did this. James picked Boston. Another big series starting tonight. San Francisco Giants at the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think that Giants are only a half game out. Half game out. I think the Dodgers feel that pressure. San Francisco wins this series. I'm going San Fran.
I'm going the Dodgers. I'm not going against the Dodgers.
All right. They didn't do so well.
Ohtani can get like 12 home runs this series.
Giants are playing great baseball.
Yeah.
Half game out.
I don't know how. They certainly don't have the squad Dodgers do, but they're in it.
They are. James, who do you have, buddy? He's going L.A. I love L.A. WNBA action on the 17th. You got the Atlanta Dream at the New York Liberty, the only team left undefeated, the Liberty, by the way.
Yeah, they're going to stay undefeated. I'm going Liberty. Give me Liberty or give me death.
All right. Give me Liberty or don't give me the Dream. I'm going Liberty as well. Listen, they are dominating right now. I think it's the second best record all time for a WNBA champion right now, currently, to start a season. So they are loaded. Yeah, they are loaded. They are loaded. And we could see Minnesota and them again, in the finals. So
good.
Liberty as well, James. All right.
Bibbidi.
6. Tomorrow you got MLS action, the San Diego Football Club at Minnesota United Football Club. Who do you have?
Oh boy. I do like Minnesota in this. Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota at home. I think they're the better team.
I went Minnesota as well. At home, I like their chances. Both these teams are second and third place, so they're both very good teams.
Yeah.
Both very good. Minnesota. Who do you have, James? San Diego Football Club at the Minnesota United Football Club. It's going Minnesota, don't you know? Minnesota, don't you know? All right, James. Minnesota. Tomorrow, UFL Championship. The UFL Championship. We got both these games wrong last week. It is the DC Defenders at the Michigan Panthers. I think it's in St. Louis. I went DC Defenders. They were the best team for most of the season, and then they had a little slump at the end, and then they came through, beat St. Louis last week in the conference championship. So I'm going DC here.
Now, this is a neutral site, correct?
St. Louis, yes. It's in
Okay.
St. Louis.
I think Washington D.C. is closer.
So there it is what you're going with. Okay, I like it.
So I'm
it.
gonna go with the DC Defenders as well.
There's more water than no, Michigan would be closer to St. Louis.
Yeah, but it's not easy to get out of Michigan.
James going to St. Louis. DC, you're going DC. It's pretty much a lock that we all get this wrong because we completely missed both games last week. All right. And then we got some NASCAR action on Sunday. The Viva Mexico 250 in Mexico City. We need a top 5 driver on.
First of all, I want to know where Christopher Bell finished last year.
None of our guys finished I think 20 plus. They all are.
Yeah.
My guy didn't even race.
I went with him 3 times in a row, Eric. And no results. He's been winning up until I picked him.
Yeah, stop.
That's it. I'm done, Christopher Bell. Done.
Done.
You are cut off.
He is done. Finito.
I'm going with my boy, Kyle Larson.
I want to get that checked. All right. Kyle Larson.
Yeah, my Boyle is going to win.
I mean, hey, if it works for you, buddy. All right. Ron, you drop him, I pick him up. Christopher Bell for the win in Mexico City.
If he wins this one, I'm going to be so pissed off.
Christopher Bell, let's go. Come on. You need me on your side, not Ron. That's what the difference was.
Wait, who does Christopher Bell drive for? Isn't it Fenway?
I don't know. You're asking again. Don't what? He's going Chase Elliott every week. You go Chase Elliott. I don't know. But it's all right, James.
Wait a minute. Did Kyle Larson win last week?
No. Oh, maybe. I think he did.
I think he did. Miami?
No.
Was it Miami last week?
No.
I don't know. I don't care. I'm going Larson. I'm going with it. He's my boy. He's going to bring Ron his 3rd win of the year.
Michigan last week. They were in Michigan last week, which is closer to St. Louis, by the way. Did you not have a thing?
Yeah, but it's tough to get out of.
Christopher Bell. There's a Bell in Mexico. I'm going to Mexico.
There's a Taco Bell in Mexico.
It probably is. It probably is. So I'm going Christopher Bell there. There you go. All right, Ron. Before we get into our final thoughts, we want to tell all the wonderful people out there how they can become a sponsor of the best sports podcast on the planet. That is Sports Unfolded. Would you love to share that with all the wonderful people out there?
I certainly can, Eric. I mean, that's what, I get the big bucks for, right?
Huge.
Look, your ad will be right here. We will read the ad. So not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version. Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. So send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information on our wonderful media kit.
So Ron,
do that.
Not just video, not just audio. We're like everywhere, right? Radio.
Yeah, we're on the radio.
So the radio.
You gotta.
Yeah, we're on
13,000 listeners in the Atlanta, Georgia area. In Dallas, Georgia.
Grow your business. Maybe you're not getting a lot of people down in Dallas, Georgia right now.
Especially if you are online business.
Thousands.
An energy drink,
We're looking at more markets too, right? More markets out there. We're going to continue to grow soon. So we might be in some West Coast markets as well in the near future. So check us out. Look at our social media platforms. You can check it out as well, just to see how successful we really are.
It's inexpensive too. It's like going to a coffee shop, your local coffee shop.
It's less than an oil change, okay?
And do they make cold chocolate, or is it just only hot chocolate?
Yeah, they don't make cold.
We can get a chocolate milk, right? Put it in the cup.
Or an oil change. It's less than
Get
that.
a culotta.
Culotta.
Well,
I don't
what
know. A
do
lot
they
of people
call
might not
them
know
other than
culottes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, but that's a Dunkin' thing.
Yeah.
That's a New England
We
thing.
don't look if Duncan isn't gonna like Honeydew's out there, Mary Lou's, Timmy's. Come talk to us.
All right.
We're viewed in Canada too, you know.
We are. All right. Well, Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, let's once again thank all those that have continued to help us grow. And that is WDJY FM in Dallas, Georgia, 99.1 FM. Check us out on Saturdays at 1 p.m., as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island on every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And Southeast Connecticut, Public Access Channel 12 on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Check us out there. If you're watching now or you're listening, come join us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best sports podcast on the planet. And have some fun with us and join us live like James has and Danny has tonight. We love having some fun with all of you and love talking sports. So come on by, have a chat with us. All right, Ron, it is final thoughts time. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything happening in the world today. You are first tonight. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, look, TJ Oshie, NHL player, Olympian, decided to hang it up for his career.
Oh, not the Super Mario dinosaur. Got it. Yoshi. Go ahead.
TJ Oshie.
Got it.
Anyway, so he announced his retirement, and it's too bad. The guy was a very talented player. Just has so many injuries. Just too much, and it overwhelmed him. You can't just keep coming back every year. Very oft injured player, but he was super talented. Hey, you had some good moments in your career, and you could have been a great rather than good, but we'll take that good because we got to see you play, and that means a lot. Thank you, TJ Oshie. And I'm sure all the Washington Capital fans are sad for this. So
No, listen. Anytime a player retires, right, you wish them well in their next endeavor. So, good luck in his future there. And it's never easy.
So injuries,
Yeah,
Eric.
it's never easy for athletes to retire. So you don't. All right, my final thought. Our friend is once again in the news. And it's only a matter of time before we see him locked up for probably quite a long time. So, Mr. Antonio Brown, congratulations on now having a warrant out for your arrest for attempted murder charges. So, I mean, he's upping his game. I think it's, unfortunate that we continuously see his career go on. When we talk to tailspin in a whirlwind of just bad things that continue to surround this person. Thanks to Danny and Becky. Yeah. Oh, from Canada.
So that makes the second Patriot is a murderer.
Yeah, somebody put that ex-Patriot. Yeah, his one game as a Patriot. Yes, they put it. But again, I don't think this man will ever figure it out. I don't think it's ever going to get any better. And I think it's just a matter of time before he's locked up for quite a long time. And this may be one of those instances. So, Antonio Brown, turn yourself in. There is a warrant out for your arrest. I'm sure you know about it, but attempted murder charges. We're definitely up in our game now. We've talked about this piece of garbage for a long time, and he continues to hold true as to what we described him as. So good luck to him.
It's like, Eric, we talk about. It seems like the same players all the time, right? About how much of a scumbag they are. And, it's like there's so many great players that we don't get to talk about, and they do great things. and it's like it kind of puts a perspective on players like, say, Peyton Manning, which we always,
speaking of,
thank
you for bringing that up. Yeah, so we talk about this garbage, and I think I should end on a positive. So I just read a story about Peyton Manning, and his daughter graduating, and it's not actually his daughter. It was he adopted her.
Mm-hmm.
Never brought her around the football. Never brought her around any of that. Her parents were both killed, I think, in a car accident.
Oof.
And she was an orphan and basically going from home to home. And he would come visit every week for a few weeks. And then one day he just came there and said, "Would you mind if I'm your dad?" And you think about who he was, right? And he saw that this young girl, 8 years old, I think at the time, like, just a remarkable story. Like, what a great story. Like, and it was never advertised. It was never put out there in the media, because he didn't want her to have that kind of life. He wanted her to have a normal life and just, be loved. And what a great job of him raising her and helping her graduate and become, something even more than she could have been. So that's great, Peyton Manning. Great job. Great call out there, Ron. Great call out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I like to give players that do good things,
right,
some praise.
We've got to do that more. That has been our show tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know we have. Again, we are on every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, MeWe, Kick. I don't even know. We're on so many things at this point. So check us out. Check out our social media platforms. Join us. Like, share, follow. Tell your friends to come join every Friday night at 6 p.m. as well. Join us live, like James and Danny. We thank you both for all the support tonight. We had a great time with you. And just continue to help us grow. Support the show. Become a sponsor. Again, thousands of eyes and ears on your business every single day. How great is that? Ron, it has been a pleasure tonight. I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope everybody else out there has a wonderful night.
Go watch the game right after this.
And all we ever ask for is that we get peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.